Hello, everyone. Welcome back. In World War II, there were courageous individuals honored with the highest medals. They became symbols of bravery, sacrifice, and unyielding will in the face of the war's harshest trials. Using verified historical sources, professional reconstruction software, and advanced AI technology, they return vivid and heroic, as if history itself were coming alive before our eyes. Who were these figures? Join us to discover and experience their stories. Audie Murphy, 1925 to 1971, known as the most decorated American soldier of World War II, was the most highly decorated U.S. combat soldier of the war. Coming from a poor family in Texas, he enlisted young and achieved legendary status by single-handedly holding off a German company, earning the Medal of Honor. In total, Murphy received over 30 military awards from the United States and its allies. After the war, he became a Hollywood actor, leaving behind a lasting legacy of courage and sacrifice. Desmond Doss, 1919 to 2006, nicknamed the hero without a gun, was a U.S. Army corporal and a devout Seventh-day Adventist. Refusing to carry a weapon, yet serving bravely, he achieved greatness at the Battle of Okinawa in 1945 on Hacksaw Ridge by saving at least 75 comrades, earning the Medal of Honor. After the war, he lived humbly while enduring injuries and illness. Doss passed away in 2006 in Alabama, leaving behind an enduring legacy of faith, sacrifice, and courage. John Basilone, 1916 to 1945, was a U.S. Marine Corps sergeant and one of the most highly honored heroes of World War II. At Guadalcanal in 1942, he held off overwhelming Japanese forces with his machine gun, securing the defensive line and earning the Medal of Honor. Refusing safety after his fame, Basilone returned to combat. On February 19, 1945, he was killed at Uama and posthumously awarded the Navy Cross, leaving behind an enduring legacy of valor and sacrifice. Richard Bong, 1920 to 1945, full name Richard Ira Bong, was America's most outstanding fighter pilot of World War II, celebrated as the ace of aces with 40 confirmed aerial victories. A major in the U.S. Army Air Forces, Bong served in the Pacific Theater, flying the P-38 Lightning with extraordinary skill and earning the Medal of Honor along with numerous other decorations. On August 6, 1945, he was killed in a test flight accident, leaving behind a legendary legacy as America's greatest combat aviator. Thomas B. McGuire, Jr., 1920-1945. Full name Thomas Buchanan McGuire, Jr., was America's second highest-scoring fighter ace of World War II with 38 confirmed aerial victories. A major in the U.S. Army Air Forces, he fought in the Pacific Theater, piloting the P-38 Lightning and ranking just behind Richard Bong in victories. On January 7, 1945, McGuire was killed in an air battle over the Philippines while attempting to protect a comrade. He was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, leaving a legendary legacy of courage. Douglas MacArthur, 1880 to 1964, was a five-star U.S. Army general and one of the greatest commanders of the 20th century. During World War II, he led the island-hopping campaign in the Pacific and fulfilled his vow, "I shall return with the liberation of the Philippines," in 1944. For his exceptional leadership, he was awarded the Medal of Honor, the highest military decoration of the United States. After the war, MacArthur oversaw the reconstruction of Japan and commanded the Incheon landing in 1950, leaving a profound legacy in the history of global military strategy. Harold Gonzalez, 1926 to 1945, was a U.S. Marine Corps private first class who was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, America's highest military decoration for his heroic sacrifice in World War II. On April 15, 1945, during the Battle of Okinawa, he threw himself onto a grenade to shield his comrades, saving many lives in his unit. Born in California and of Latino heritage, Gonalves is remembered as an enduring symbol of bravery and selfless devotion. Daniel J. Callahan, 1890 to 1942, was a U.S. Navy Rear Admiral posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for outstanding leadership in the naval battle of Guadalcanal. On November 13th, 1942, he commanded Task Force 67.4 against a far superior Japanese fleet, directing the fight from the bridge of the USS San Francisco. Though killed in action, Callahan's resolve ensured the defense of vital airfields on Guadalcanal. His sacrifice became a turning point in the Pacific War and an immortal legacy in U.S. naval history. James H. Doolittle, 1896 to 1993, was a U.S. Air Force general best known for leading the daring Doolittle Raid in 1942, the first American airstrike on Tokyo after Pearl Harbor. The bold mission lifted American morale and proved Japan's vulnerability, earning him the Medal of Honor, the nation's highest military award. After World War II, Doolittle continued to serve in key leadership roles and became a pioneering figure in aviation, leaving a profound legacy in both military history and aeronautical science. Ernest Evans, 1908 to 1944, was a U.S. Navy commander of Cherokee heritage and captain of the destroyer USS Johnston during the Battle of Samar in the Leyte Gulf Campaign. On October 25, 1944, facing an overwhelming Japanese fleet, he boldly ordered a direct attack to shield American carriers. Driving his ship into the enemy line, Evans launched torpedoes and opened fierce gunfire, inflicting heavy damage while covering U.S. forces. Killed in action with his ship, he became the first Native American of Cherokee heritage to receive the Medal of Honor in World War II, remembered as a naval legend of courage. Samuel Dealey, 1906 to 1944, was a U.S. Navy lieutenant commander and captain of the submarine USS Harder during World War II. Posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. Nicknamed the Destroyer Killer, he sank 16 Japanese ships, including 5 destroyers in just 4 days in the Philippines, dealing heavy blows to the enemy fleet. On August 24, 1944, the Harder was sunk off Luzon and perished with his crew. He is remembered as a legendary figure in submarine warfare and American naval history. Edward A. Carter, Jr., 1916 to 1963, was a U.S. Army Staff Sergeant and one of the few African-Americans to receive the Medal of Honor for heroism in World War II. On March 23, 1945, in Germany, though seriously wounded, he continued fighting alone, killing enemy soldiers, capturing prisoners, and gathering vital intelligence. Because of racial discrimination, his valor went unrecognized for decades. In 1997, Carter was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, standing as a symbol of courage and the fight for justice in military history. James E. Robinson, Jr., 1918 to 1945, was a U.S. Army captain posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for extraordinary heroism in World War II on April 6, 1945, in Germany, when his unit was pinned down by fierce enemy fire. He advanced alone, using an anti-tank weapon to destroy multiple German machine gun positions and clear the way for infantry to attack. Though gravely wounded, Robinson continued to lead and encourage his men until he collapsed. His sacrifice endures as a symbol of courage and inspirational leadership. Jack L. Treadwell, 1919 to 1989, was a U.S. Army officer awarded the Medal of Honor for extraordinary bravery in World War II. On March 18, 1945, at Netherwurzbach, Germany, he single-handedly stormed enemy defenses, destroying 6 bunkers, 3 machine guns, and eliminating 35 German soldiers, paving the way for the infantry advance. After the war, Treadwell continued his military service for more than 3 decades, rising to the rank of colonel. He is remembered as an enduring symbol of American bravery. John R. Fox, 1915 and 1944, was a U.S. Army First Lieutenant, posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, the nation's highest military decoration for his heroic sacrifice in World War II. On December 26, 1944, in Sacagawea, Italy, as German forces overran the town, Fox, serving as a forward artillery observer, called fire onto his own position, leaving the final words, "Fire. It will slow them down." His action saved many comrades. Born in Ohio, he was one of the first African-American officers of the Buffalo Soldiers and was awarded the Medal of Honor in 1997. Charles and DeGlopper 1921 to 1944 with a U.S. Army Private First Class and the only member of the 82nd Airborne Division to receive the Medal of Honor in World War II. On June 9, 1944 at Les Fères, France, when his platoon was pinned down by German fire, he volunteered to stay behind and hold off the enemy. Though struck repeatedly, DeGlopper stood his ground, firing his weapon until the enemy was suppressed and his comrades could withdraw. He was killed in action, but remembered as a symbol of sacrifice for his fellow soldiers. Thomas W. Fowler 1921 to 1944 was a U.S. Army First Lieutenant posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for heroism in World War II on May 23, 1944 at Carano, Italy, when infantry forces were pinned down by German fire. He volunteered to lead a tank assault, bravely directing 3 tanks through intense fire. Fowler destroyed enemy positions and cleared the way for the advance of U.S. troops. He was killed in action during the battle, remembered as a lasting symbol of valor and sacrifice. Pappy Boyington, 1912 to 1988, was a U.S. Marine Corps lieutenant colonel, ACE pilot, and a World War II legend. He commanded VMF 214, the Black Sheep Squadron in the Pacific Theater, achieving 28 aerial victories and ranking among America's top fighter aces. In January 1944, Boyington was shot down and spent over a year as a prisoner of war before being liberated. He received both the Medal of Honor and the Navy Cross, leaving an enduring legacy in the history of American aerial combat. Matt L. Urban, 1919 to 1995, was a U.S. Army lieutenant colonel and one of the most highly decorated American soldiers of World War II, serving in both North Africa and Europe. He was wounded multiple times, yet repeatedly returned to combat during the Normandy campaign. Despite a severe neck wound, Urban continued to lead assaults and inspire his men. For his extraordinary bravery, he was awarded the Medal of Honor in 1980, remembered as a lasting symbol of resilience and sacrifice. George Cannon, 1915 to 1941. Full name George Ham Cannon was a U.S. Marine Corps First Lieutenant and the first Marine of World War II to be awarded the Medal of Honor on December 7, 1941, during the Japanese attack on Midway Island. His command post was struck. Though gravely wounded, Cannon refused evacuation, continuing to direct defensive fire, maintain communications, and aid his men until he collapsed. His heroic sacrifice protected his unit and enshrined him as a symbol of the Marine Corps' enduring courage in the opening hours of the war. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to share it with your friends and hit subscribe so you won't miss our next exciting content.